played here last year with the Ashes, and the crowd we got in was unbelievable. But not even then, like going years back to the Commonwealth Games, like I've just had so many positive experiences here in terms of just the crowd getting behind us. So yeah, really excited.
Does it make a difference? You know, does it make a difference when that crowd's cheering you on? You feel that buzz ahead of the game?
Yeah, 100%. I think because sometimes, like when you're trying to compete in international cricket, you're so focused sometimes on just how well you're doing and stuff, and then you kind of, with the crowd there, you remember what you're doing it for, which is to inspire and entertain. And you're like, okay, we're here to, you know, entertain this crowd. So yeah, it's really special to us.
You're expecting around 15,000. There's 19 plus for the Ashes. It's quite inspiring as well, isn't it, when you look around the crowd and see how the game's developed?
Yeah, 100%. I think we've seen kind of the crowd shift as well to not just kind of the regulars who have always kind of supported us, but also just new people who may not even know the game of, you know, cricket, and or young girls who are, you know, starting up their game. So when we go speak to them in the crowd, we see this transition each time, and that's just what's so exciting about this whole process.
How are the team recovering after New Zealand? How excited are they for this incredible summer?
Yeah, we're really excited. Obviously, it was quite full-on schedule in New Zealand, but what a place to do it. Very beautiful scenery. So yeah, we've had some time to kind of switch off, and some of us have been playing a bit of regional cricket as well. So yeah, just been doing our own thing to prep really, and we've come together for the last few days before the first game, and yeah, we're shaping up nicely.
And all eyes for the World Cup?
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously we know it will come round quite quickly, but we also kind of don't want to look too far ahead. I think it's just something in the back of our minds that we just keep work towards in terms of what does the team need to do now, you know, for our current game, but also to keep developing our game, which I think as a team we're managing really well at the moment.
And therefore, would it be fair to say that coming to Edgbaston in front of a big crowd, if we do have an anticlimactic moment in that game, obviously that can prepare you for that, maybe that big quarter-final, semi-final down the road?
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, like with World Cups, you just don't know what to expect as well. And I think it's, you know, Pakistan are a quality side, and I think there'll just be so many, you know, pressured moments in the game, and trying to do that whilst inspiring a crowd can be quite difficult. So, yeah, it'll be a good challenge, but also just really exciting for us.
We spoke to Heather Knight. She talked about how partisan that England crowd was last time you came here, and they gave a lot of stick to the Australian team. But obviously here in Birmingham, we've got a really big Pakistan contingent that are going to be supporting as well. How are you excited for that?
Yeah, I think it just makes the game more competitive, to be honest. Like, you know, we've had crowds where we've been in that situation before, and like obviously you do want everyone to be supporting England, but you know that's not going to happen at a World Cup. So I think it's also good practice for maybe those crowds we might get in Bangladesh as well.
Thanks, Matt. Right. What are your personal targets for this particular series that's coming up now?
I think for me it's just to try and dominate as consistently as I can. Obviously whacking my head in the last series wasn't ideal, so I think for me, but I was really happy with how I started the last series, even though it was just the first couple of games. I felt I played my role really well, so I guess it's for me to keep doing that, but also keep pushing myself to try new things in games as well, just so, you know, if something happens further down the line, I'm, you know, ready to deliver for the team.
You mentioned about youngsters out there, and you know well that being on social media, influencer as well.
Not sure.
Sorry?
I'm not sure I'm quite the influencer, but I'll take it.
Well, the granddaughters know about you.
Oh, well, that's it then.
Is how much does it matter to you to inspire younger female to take up the game and to play cricket?
I think it's because, you know, for a lot of the girls in the team, we didn't have that growing up as much. Not to say, obviously, there was talented cricketers at the time competing, but, you know, they just weren't in TV, magazines, you know, online. It just wasn't about as much. So I kind of grew up with male role models more, which obviously isn't a problem, but I think the fact that the girls have access to that now and seeing people thinking, I can actually do that in the future is what's so special about it. So I think a part of it almost feels like a bit of a responsibility to give them what we couldn't have and what we really had wished for.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Thanks, Roy. Any more from in the room? In that case, then we'll move on to Zoom. So first of all, Naya.
Hi. So my question is, with England all set to witness a massive domestic shakeup, right? With teams all set to be owned by counties. What do you make of this move? And do you think it's a step in the right direction?
Yeah. All right. Do I need the mic from?
Don't worry
talking
about
to Zoom.
No, don't.
I just, it feels a bit unnatural, like talking to live
No,
Zoom.
you're all good. You're all good.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think it's a great step going forward. I think the fact that obviously we're attracting more crowds just purely for women's cricket as well, but I think to be joined up with the men's, I think we've seen how effective that was in the 100, and to kind of just start to be distinguished more as one team rather than the male and the female team. So I think it will only provide more benefits for us down the line.
Definitely, and even England, right now you have such a fine band of spinners. There's you, there's Charlie Dean, there's Sophie Eccleston. So how's it like, being in an environment like this with the finest, and just trying to constantly evolve and improve is the motto?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's quite a unique scenario for us as well because we're all so young. So we're still learning what works best for us and still obviously always trying to develop our game. So I think it's actually really special that we're all going through a similar thing. Obviously, Soph's been around a bit longer despite her still being so young. So me and Dino drip into her kind of experience. But apart from that, I just think it's special that we're all going through kind of the same thing and trying to just be our best for the team.
Thank you so much and all the best for the series.
Thank you.
Thanks, Naya. Valkyrie.
Derek, great to see you back from your concussion. Can you just talk us a little bit through your recovery and what you sort of had to go through to get back to full fitness for this series?
Well, firstly, no scrolling on TikTok, which was quite hard. But yeah, no, just a bit of chill time. I was with the group for a little bit, but obviously with concussion, it's really hard to kind of switch off. So ended up just having some downtime to myself. And then when I got home, just having another week or so, just trying to switch off as much as I can. And then from there, just built it up gradually, just started to reintroduce some skills and get kind of the brain working a little bit more. And then I managed to play a few regional games, which was really good. That kind of helped me build up ready for this series as well, just to kind of get a bit of confidence in the middle. So yeah, it's been quite a gradual process, as obviously concussion is quite a frustrating injury, but I've been looked after really well and excited to get going for Pakistan.
And were you actually feeling particular effects, and if so, what were they, or was it more just the precautionary stuff you had to do that was so frustrating?
I think I actually did feel, symptoms, and I've had concussion before and I've got quite a good experience it. So as soon as it happened and afterwards I was thinking, yeah, I've definitely got it. So yeah, for me it was just kind of getting those symptoms a lot better, and then with concussion you've just got to really build it up and not go too intense too quickly. So we've worked really well with the team and just doing that in a gradual process and getting into game time. So yeah, that's kind of how the process works.
And just off the back of the New Zealand series, obviously you came back from that but have regrouped since. Were there particular things from that tour or that performance that this England side as a whole wants to build on or do as a result of your success out there?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to remember now because it was quite difficult. But I think for us, like obviously we got put under quite a few pressured moments in the ODIs as well. But obviously they're just little moments which we want to keep working towards. But obviously from a T20 point of view, we were really happy with how the cricket went. We played some real kind of strong, positive cricket, which was really entertaining. So I think for us is to just keep doing that and keep adjusting to different teams, different conditions. When we were out there in New Zealand, each pitch was different as well. So we kind of got used to adjusting that way. So I think for us, it's just taking all those positives forward and to be able to keep adapting to each team and type of pitch as well.
Thanks so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Valkyrie. Rory.
Hi, Sarah. Oh, you still there?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. No worries.
Someone disappeared off my screen. I couldn't tell if it was you. Sarah, when the squad was announced and the likes of Sophia Dunkley isn't in it, Izzy Wong isn't in it, even someone like Holly Armitage, it just seems the strength and depth of this England setup is just increasing all the time. What does it say, do you think, about the wider depth when you can name a squad and see so many talented cricketers left out?
Yeah, I think it just shows where the women's game's going. Obviously, the progress we've had in regional cricket has been amazing the past couple of years. And yeah, just the growth of the game is just growing more and more. And even though those amazing players were left out, they still feel, you know, so part of the group, and they could come in at any minute, and it also feels like anyone could be dropped out at any minute, and it's quite a special place to be. Obviously you don't want to get dropped, but like I think it's a special place to be in terms of how competitive it is and how much that's growing the game forward, and you know really makes you work hard on your game as well. So I think, you know, it's positive signs overall, I think, to see that happening, and hopefully the game can just keep growing forward. So yeah.
And the performance levels and the pushing up from that regional structure is going to stay high by the looks of it. I just wondered, you know, with Sophie, with yourself and Charlie, you seem like a pretty locked in three in terms of that sort of varied spin attack. Is that, you know, do you feel like it's absolutely your spot, certainly in T20 cricket, or do you know that there are people snapping at your heels and sort of waiting for the chance?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like we're quite a strong trio at the moment, but it does not feel like at any point that, like, you know, it does feel like you can just, you know, make a swap at any point. We've seen, you know, so many talented spinners in the regional setup, you know, performing consistently. And so, yeah, the pressure's kind of always on to keep our place. So even though it might, you know, appear solid at the time, you know, we know deep down that we've just got to keep performing and keep doing our part for the team to remain our spot. But I think also the responsibility is with, you know, the experiences me, Dina and Soph are getting is to keep transferring that into the regional setup with our spinners as well, just so that when they come in and make their a name for themselves, they're also prepared as well. So I think, with how the regional setup is at the moment and how it's going forward, that gap will only get, you know, closer and closer.
And has it been sort of, I guess, has John been stressing to you guys that actually with the tournament coming ahead, being in Bangladesh, that he's going to use you maybe this summer in the way that he might plan to use you in Bangladesh and lean on the three of you in that way?
I think in terms of overall, it's not really necessarily just for like the spinners. Obviously, spinners' conditions in Bangladesh is very well suited, but I think it's just constantly adjusting to what's in front of us. You know, I don't think we could go into a series where the pitch is, let's say, more of an English wicket, and then we have to, let's try and make this as if we're, you know, in Bangladesh. So I think for us it's keep playing the game in front of us with bearing in mind what's coming ahead, and I think to keep developing forward is, like what I just mentioned before, is to keep those comms with the other spinners in the team. Obviously, like Lindsay Smith has come in, who's an absolute, you know, talent and has played for England before and is a very well experienced player. So, for example, just keep communicating with her and with the other spinners who have the potential to compete in that World Cup. I think we've all just got to be one team rather than just the three of us, and I think that's what's going to make us kind of keep taking those positive steps forward for the team.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rory. James?
Just on that, as a spinner, are you excited by the prospect of the World Cup being in Bangladesh and a chance for you to really play a big role in that World Tournament?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it's a spinner's dream to kind of play there. So, but personally for me, I've also never been there myself, and I've got no experience in Bangladesh. So I think, you know, when I get out there is just kind of take what's in front of me and try not get too giddy and expect so much. So I think, just keep sticking to what I'm doing, and just excited to see how it plays out.
And how are you guys going to use these two series against Pakistan in terms of that World Cup preparation? How useful will it be?
I think it'll be really useful because obviously we've not played Pakistan for a while, so we're going to come across different batters who play different ways. So I think what will be really crucial for our spinners, but also as a bowling attack, is keeping them communication up in those pressured moments about what's needed for us right now, because there are going to be those moments where we do feel under the pump and we want to get out the other side of that. So I think for us it's, after the series, we'll be reflecting on what worked and what didn't and what we can take forward going then into the New Zealand series. And I think as long as we keep doing that, we'll just keep developing our game ready for the World Cup.
How would you rate your chances come September, do you think? Obviously difficult conditions out there, but...
Yeah, I back our team all the way. I think what we're trying to create, I know I keep sounding boring saying it, but is just keep trying to be able to compete in every kind of pressured moment. And I think with how we're shaping up, it's looking really exciting. Obviously, it's a different thing saying it than doing it. So I think for us is making sure we're training, under pressure as well, and applying that into when we're in those game scenarios and figuring out what's working for us. And as mentioned on the other questions, the talent of the regionals teams is really coming through as well. So I feel like it's a very even playing field for selection as well. And I think that's also a really exciting prospect for our chances of winning the World Cup.
And finally from me, John Lewis mentioned this week, I think it was this week recently anyway, that he's used AI to help with team selection. As a player, what do you make of that? And do you use AI? Can you use AI as players to improve your games at all?
I personally haven't used it before, but I think what Louis mentioned was that he definitely does it from kind of a personal point of view in terms of like the player, and then he'll look at AI. So I think I support his way of doing it. I think we all have a really trusting relationship with him as a coach and doing what's best for the team, and I think he sees us train day in, day out, like all the time. So it's not just kind of a stats point of view also, but it's a visual as well. So I think, combining those two together will only help him select what he thinks the best team on the day is to hopefully, keep increasing our chances of winning. So I support that, and that's it really.
You don't use it then? Players don't use it as well?
I haven't used it yet. I don't know if the other players do or not, but yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Any other questions for Sarah?
Sorry, yes, I wasn't able to raise my hand. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Pakistan themselves are going through a bit of a regeneration. Obviously, they've got a new captain. They're coming off of a 4-1 series defeat to the Windies. Does that give you some confidence heading in?
I don't think it changes anything for us, because I think they'll only be wanting to punch back from that and punch back harder. And I think, Nida Dar is a great captain and she's a real leader. So we know that they're going to come in quite hot. So we've just got to be, ready for that. And we're trying not to focus too much on what they're doing or what's been happening. I think we're just really focusing on what's best for us and, how how we will win our games of cricket.
And obviously Maya Boucher, she was incredible in New Zealand. How good is it to see her getting an opportunity to play against Pakistan now?
Yeah, it's so well deserved. She's just been performing really well, but also for a long time. And yeah, she just hits the ball so well. I get a bit scared in net sometimes, to be honest with you. But it'll just be really nice to go see her do that for us, and I don't have to bowl against her, so I'm quite happy.
Great, thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eamon. Any more?
Let's jump in again once more very quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Sarah, you mentioned earlier that wasn't the first concussion you'd had. I just wondered, and you'd had some symptoms. Having come through this most recent one, are you on a different programme? If you're into multiple concussions, do you get monitored for longer? Do you have to feed back into the medical team? Does it change if you get more than one?
Not really, because these happened quite a long time ago now, the previous concussions. But I think, I'm just obviously being managed, but I think in terms of cricket, because I followed the protocol after in terms of what was needed in terms, I think it was like 12 days of no competitive cricket, and then really rested and built it up and had no symptoms. I think if you go through the process properly, there's no kind of extra caution needed, unless I had up to maybe, 10. It might be a different story. It's quite a nice space that when, you looked after so well, and go through it really helped me go through that as well, because I'm always impatient, want to get back on the field, but they were really good with me, so I'm in a good place now that I don't have to be cautious and can just crack on with training.